Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about the thief on the cross. And the reason why is, I've read the Bible many times. I think I've read it 3 times cover to cover in the book, and then I've listened to it cover to cover an audiobook 8 times, because I've gone through the Bible 11 times. So 3 times reading it with my very own eyeballs and text, and then listening to it with my very own earballs in audiobook. And so there, the Bible is incredibly precious to me, but there are parts of it that really speak to me very directly and that are beautiful to me. They really just really kind of bring to life why I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. And so the biggest one of the biggest retellings in the Bible of an event is the thief on the cross. So I'm going to explain what the event is, and I'm going to explain why it's really precious to me. All right, so the thief on the cross is the story of 2 thieves who are on, it's the retelling of 2 thieves who are on the cross with Christ. So these 2 thieves are on the cross with Christ. Christ is being crucified, and he is being crucified because a lot of political forces and a lot of individuals came together to say this guy's too disruptive, and we need to destroy everything that he stands for and make sure that he is shut down, essentially, right? So, Christ on the cross. Now, we as Christians know the reason he's there is in order to save us, and that his death on the cross is going to be the foundation of salvation, right? So what happens is, it's really fascinating. So the 2 thieves start talking. The first thief calls out and he says, "Hey, aren't you the Christ? Well, if you're the Christ, well, why don't you save yourself and us?" Okay. Now, you can tell by the tone, he's questioning, "Aren't you the Christ?" Now, that indicates sarcasm. So this guy does not believe that Jesus Christ is the Christ. He doesn't believe that he's the Savior, right? Then the other thief, he says, "Jesus, please remember me when you're in your kingdom," right? That's it. It's a real short statement, right? Actually, it's a short statement on both sides, right? And of course, all this is in the Gospel of Luke. And then at that point, Christ says back to the recognizing thief, the thief that recognized him and was not sarcastic and asked for Christ to remember him. That thief, Christ says, he says, "I will remember you when I'm in my kingdom," right? And and that you'll be with me, right? And I think he even says this very day, right? And so, and now, why is this particular? There's many stories in the Bible, but this one is really particularly precious to me. And the biggest reason why is the thief on the cross, the good thief, as some people would say. I call him the recognizing thief, and the reason why is he wasn't good. He was being crucified, right? And in addition to that, it identifies him in the Bible as a thief, that he was there being crucified because he was a thief, right? So he was not good, right? But he's recognized. He recognized Christ as the Son of God. He recognized him as the Messiah, okay? And that's the big part, right? Is in order to be saved, that's really all that needs to happen. If you recognize Jesus Christ for who he is, I feel like the rest is like a 1-2 step. The rest follows, right? So, but I do want to talk about the good thief for just a moment. The recognizing thief, right? So the thing that really blows me away about the recognizing thief is he is nailed to a cross, okay? He says to Christ, "Remember me when you're in your kingdom," right? And Christ says, yeah, I will remember you in my kingdom, right? And that is the purest, best picture of salvation. And the reality is, we are all the recognizing thief. All those people who are going to go to heaven because they've been saved, right? We're all the recognizing thief. And there are many people in this world who will tell you that Jesus is not enough to get you to heaven, that you need to go to church, that you need to be a good person, that you need to be kind, and all that is a big crock. Like, you do not need to be, you don't need to do anything to go to heaven except recognize Jesus, ask him for salvation. That's it. That is the whole ball of wax, right? And the Bible's really clear. It says all your good deeds are filthy rags to me, right? And the reason why is we're generally not, we're not altruistic. There's almost always something mixed up in our good deeds, even if we just want to be recognized, or even if we're, whatever it is, right? Our actions are not pure, right? And so, because we've sinned, we need to be perfect, and nobody's perfect. And that means we need Jesus Christ. And Jesus Christ, salvation, is just, it's so wonderful. It's such a beautiful thing. And it provides everything. There's nothing that is added. There's no Jesus plus. Jesus is the entire path to salvation. It is the entire path to being reconciled to God. He is the entire path to going to heaven. And we do not bring anything. We do not bring one shred of impetus, or we don't do anything to earn our salvation, right? It's just really, and it's incredibly important to know, because I feel like the second you think that you're bringing something to the table, again, you're the unrecognizing thief. You're the guy who's saying, Christ really isn't a savior. I've got to save myself. And at the end of the day, you will hear a million different views about religion and about God and all these things. But at the end of the day, okay, every person on this earth makes a choice on who they think God is. And that always comes down to the following. They say, God is God, or they say, I am God. And I think everybody on this earth who is not believing in God is saying, I am God, in the following way. They're either saying, I'm going to save myself, or they're saying, I have omniscience, right? They're saying, essentially, I know that there's nothing on the other side, right? And now, actually, I guess I can't say everyone. I think there's a very, very, very small group of people. I think, now that I think about it, I'm sorry. I remember one person. There's one person in my entire life that I met that I discussed religion with very, very deeply. And that person said, I believe that God is real, and I am choosing not to ask for salvation. That is one of the scariest things, I think, in all of humanity. It is incredibly scary, and just, it's, like that, because that one, I just don't know how somebody arrives at that. I'm tempted to say they have courage, because I think if you know that God is real, and you're still, you won't say, I can't save myself, and I don't want to spend an eternity separated from God, and that place is hell. I mean, that's that is incredibly dark, and I really hope, and to this day I still pray for that So that, so I guess that's the biggest thing, is just, the other thing I just want to talk a little bit about recognizing Jesus, so I really think that once you recognize Jesus, basically, if you recognize Jesus, then he's the Messiah. He is the Son of God. He is the Word. He is, the person who's going to return right before the rapture. And, he is going to come in the sky. And, and once you recognize that Jesus Christ is the only path to salvation, then at that point, the math is incredibly simple. You're like, there's no Savior but Christ. There is no way for me to be reconciled to God because of my sin So I need to come to Jesus Christ and be given a saving grace, right? And I think, just the thief on the cross is it's so important to me because it's the one area in the Bible that shows me the clearest exactly who Jesus is, and beautifully how simple the path to salvation is. Recognize Jesus Christ, ask Him for salvation, believe it. That's it. You're done. So it's the whole ball of wax, man. And the good thief, the recognizing thief, he saw that, and also just the fact that Jesus is in pain and these two thieves are there. And then also showing the world, like it's a picture of the world. Right now, there are people who are mocking Christ. This very week, there's an assault on the image of Christ that has hit the mainstream, and it's never ending. There's always somebody ready to stand and deny that Christ is the Son of God. And so, that unrecognizing thief, he's always there, and we need to be aware that we need to be the recognizing thief, right? And then also just the other thing is the last thing about him not adding anything. That thief, he was nailed to the cross. He could not move. He could not do any good deeds, right? And everything was on his faith, his recognizing Christ, and his simple, beautiful request for Christ to save him. And Jesus' immediate response and his ability to deliver on that promise that that thief would be remembered in the kingdom and would be with Jesus. So that's why the thief on the cross is such a beautiful story to me. Thank you.